Hello and welcome to Pretty Good Gaming. My name is Gareth Evans and I must point out before we start that this is not the gaming news. This video I'm just going to be talking trash about EA. So I must warn you that if you are sensitive to attempted comedy, allergic to laughing or liable to be offended by jokes, you should probably not watch this program. And you can also go and fuck yourself. Edgy bastard. What an edgy bastard that Gaz is. Edgy bastard. So you've seen the thumbnail of this video, you've read the title, you know I'm going to talk about EA and the fact that they've cancelled yet another Star Wars game. This was a game that they originally announced back in 2007, at exactly the same time as they announced that they were closing Visceral Games. They were effectively firing 80 people at the same time as they announced the Star Wars game. And this is the behaviour of one of the biggest companies in the games industry. EA, everybody. It's in the shame. It's no wonder this industry is fucked. One of the most beloved and largest entertainment franchises in the world, and their announcement of a new game went something along the lines of, we regret to announce that we've had to fire around 80 of our employees today. Despite the fact we make millions and millions of dollars on loot boxes, they've had to go home and tell their families that Santa probably isn't coming this Christmas, which means they won't be able to afford to buy the new Star Wars game that we're making, everybody. I mean, I'm paraphrasing, it probably went something like that. Suffice to say that EA do not have the best track record when it comes to announcing new Star Wars games. Remember last year when Vince Zampella of Respawn announced his new Star Wars game, Jedi: The Fallen Order? He did it from an auditorium seat while EA gave the E3 conference. He was literally sat in the audience announcing a new Star Wars game. That is absolutely awful, and I fully expect the next Star Wars game to be announced by CEO Andrew Wilson while he squats down to take a shit on a dead child. G'day everyone. Ignore the dead kid, I'm just dropping a deuce in his head. He's probably so used to everyone around him eating his shit, why wouldn't he think the dead baby would want some? Yeah, that's a great idea. Great idea, boss. That's a fair income plan, boss. Visceral Games were just one of many development studios shut down by EA over the most recent years. They of course were popular for creating the Dead Space game series, which was a survival horror. Walking lonely corridors praying you don't run into anyone nasty in fear that you'll get killed off before finishing your objective is probably what it's like working for EA these days. So this week's cancelled Star Wars game was originally called Project Ragtag when it was being worked on by Visceral Games, and it was renamed to Project Orca when EA Vancouver took over. Of course, the orca is a species of whale which is well known for its high intelligence, which is probably the reason why all the morons making the decisions at EA just didn't like it. So now EA Vancouver won't get to realise their ambition by making the Star Wars game in the same way that they did with their previous portfolio of games, which include the glorious Medal of Honor Heroes 2 for the Nintendo Wii, the highly memorable EA Replay for the PSP, who could forget that, and the totally unforgettable Marvel Nemesis Rise of the Imperfects. It really does make you wonder that since they were working on an open world Star Wars game, how could anything possibly go wrong? Obviously, respected games journalist Jason Schreier has been reporting on this for Kotaku. Some of his inside sources have reported that in the game you could have played as a bounty hunter or a scoundrel, coincidentally becoming a greedy, dishonest and unscrupulous person is the title for Chapter 7 in the EA Management Handbook. EA making a game about being a scoundrel is the moral equivalent of someone like Coldplay writing a song about fingernails scratching on a chalkboard. You know, because their songs sound like fingernails scratching on a chalkboard. Paradise! Try reports that they scrapped Project Orca in favour of a smaller Star Wars project which they can release sometime before the end of 2020, just in time for the new console generation. Possibly in time before Andrew Wilson gets fired as EA's CEO. You know, because he hasn't shit on enough babies' heads. Schreier's article does note that EA have not laid off any employees as a result of the game's cancellation, like they deserve any credit for that. Because it's not like that $800 million of pure profit they generate from FIFA Ultimate Team loot boxes goes anywhere near covering those wages. But apparently, among the people more than glad to hear about the news of the game's cancellation is Bethesda. They are said to be ecstatic about the fact that YongYea now has somebody else to generate 10 videos per day about for the next 2 months. That was a joke. I do love YongYea and I love what he stands for. I love how he creates consumer focused videos. He stands up against microtransactions and loot boxes and all the bullshit that the industry is right now. I just wanted to get that out there just so that you understand how I feel. I'm just saying he does like to milk a Brahmin. So in the wake of all this news, there is a huge public call now for Disney and Lucasfilm to release EA from this exclusivity contract that they've got for the Star Wars games. Because so far during this exclusivity contract, it's been nothing but scandal after disappointment after complete bullshit that EA have generated. It might be in everybody's interest that the whole thing is just cancelled. That way we could go back to getting some decent Star Wars games again, and EA could go back to what they do best: making tons of money ripping off gullible sports fans. But really the main takeaway from this is anybody actually surprised that this happened? That EA let us down again? Are you angry about it? If you are, then you're a complete mug. Who wasn't expecting this, honestly? Everyone expected this. If you were expecting a proper open world Star Wars game from the likes of EA, then you were hugely mistaken, sir. Anyway, that's just me talking trash on this situation. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. If you want to support this content, head over to patreon.com/prettygoodgaming. You can find out some of the rewards that you can get in return for helping us bring you and produce this content. Anyway, I'll see you again in the next video. Until then, bye for now.